So I tweeted this out earlier. Did you see what the line is for tomorrow night's Heat-Celtics game? Would you like to guess, Crowder?
Boston for sure. 4.
Solana, did you see the tweet, or are you aware of the line?
I'm not.
Take a guess.
Boston 7.5.
Appel, do you know what the line is?
I do, so I won't ruin it.
All right, we'll keep them out of it then. Celtics are 8-point favorites tomorrow night in Boston. It was like the gambling public had learned a one-night lesson. And what were the Heat yesterday? They go off at like 1.5, I think. 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
I guess everyone is just expecting now Boston turned a little corner. They hold court at home. Now, I don't know, again, if they're 8 points better than the Heat, but the betting public will determine that, and that'll depend if the line goes up or down. But, yeah, I think there's also a rooting element in here. It's very strange. Solana mentioned it at 2 o'clock. Greeny, who I happen to love, all but anointed the Celtics the winner of this series against the Heat, talked about how much more talented they are, and I don't know if he's watching a different series than I've been watching. I understand the Heat lost last night, but there does seem to be a public appetite for Boston to win this series, but they got a long way to go.
I'm not the media hates the Heat guy ever, because I think that conversation generally is a little overblown by certain fan bases, but it feels like there was like a chomping at the bit to like, oh, there's one Heat loss here, like we could pile on, like there's not a lot of interest in seeing the Heat after this round. And it's interesting because I'm sure on Greeny's show for the first 3 games, much like we did on Monday, is Joe Mazzulla cut out for this? Are Tatum and Brown the guys to keep together in Boston? Do you re-sign Jaylen Brown? And here they are a game later with Greeny, as you said, saying we want to be the Celtics instead.
No, we actually talked about it. I don't know if you were here, but if you go back to the conference finals and you ask what basketball wants, Lakers-Celtics would have been beautiful.
Right.
So now they lost to Lakers. People want the Celtics in the finals.
Well, also, you want, especially if you're doing a national show, I get this, you want some sort of drama. You want some sort of, like, the Nuggets sweep. Now you've got the Heat last night looking like they might be able to sweep. National sports need some sort of drama rather than a week and a day to preview Heat and Nuggets.
But I feel like there's a middle ground between the Celtics are done and I'd rather be the Celtics down 3-1 in this series.
Well,
there's a middle ground.
That's the part that gets funny, where it's like, well, no, you wouldn't rather be the Celtics because you got to win 3 more games in a row.
What are we doing?
This is exactly where they wanted to be. No damn chance.
But it gets disrespect. In my opinion, and Appel, you know how I feel. I do feel like the national media usually has an anti-Miami bias, whether it's the Heat, whether it's the Panthers, South Florida sports. I do feel that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't watch the Get Up segment today. I was just following along on Twitter. Barry Jackson had tweeted about it, and he had mentioned that Greeny started saying that like Miami's role players, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, they wouldn't be playing on other title contenders.
That's such an over-exaggeration.
To me, that's when it gets disrespectful. Yeah. Like, once you start saying Miami's legitimate core right now that had a 3-0 series over Boston, these guys wouldn't get minutes on the team they're kicking the ass of in this series. Like, he's just saying things at this point. That's when I think it's dumb.
Well, I think I don't know if it's necessarily an anti-Miami bias, but like you think about who's on these shows, like the NBA Countdown on ESPN. It's Greeny from New York. It's Stephen A. Smith from New York. It's Wilbon from Chicago. It's Jalen Rose, who has I don't know where he claims, but it's not Miami. Like there aren't a lot of huge national voices that are from down here, and so I think there might be some of that at play with things like that. But like, as you were saying with the role players, it's mostly the same team last year that took Boston to 7 games and came within a shot of going to the NBA Finals. They were the 1 seed last year. It's a little weird. The Heat obviously had a bad regular season, but they're obviously playing a lot closer to what we saw last year and just generally this Jimmy Butler era. And the lack of a better word to use there, the disrespect is a little weird to me. It's a little weird to me.
And, they love our restaurants. I mean, they come down, they Prime Italian and Joe's. They can't stand the teams, but they love the restaurants.
Jealousy.
Try to get a table at Pollo Tropical when the NBA Finals are in town.
Jalen, you can't sit down.
Can't do it.
Well, try and get a table at Pollo Tropical because you're walking through a rainy night out of the arena and the water's up to your knees. So it might be difficult.
Oh, they love to talk about the drainage issues in South Florida.
And would move into one of those condos in a second.
In a second if they had a boat.
Hey, man, buy a kayak.
All right, what else we got, Solana?
Tonight, the Florida Panthers have brought out the brooms, and they're going to try to sweep the Carolina Hurricanes, 8 p.m. Barkov, your captain, he's active tonight, and Paul Maurice said he'll be the freshest skater on the ice tonight.
The line is -110 for both teams, as it was in Game 3, so again, very evenly matched. Over-under on goals, again, is 5.5, which is too many. And it's crazy because it's a low total. We talked about it. I mean, it's always 6.5, sometimes 7, certainly with Panthers games. 5.5 again, and I would not go over on it because, I mean, it was 1 goal the other night, and you just have seen such stellar goaltending in this series that it would be hard to bet the over on that.
And if you go over, that means the Panthers have to score 6. That's unreasonable.
Well, that's a great point.
That's unreasonable.
That's a great – I mean, 2-0 lead, maybe an empty netter, but how do you get to 6? I don't know.
Appel, the Marlins play tonight, right? 8:40 p.m., Colorado, Sandy.
All right, not now, Appel. Josh Appel, the Marlins public address announcer. I'm teasing. Go ahead. How are the Marlins doing? I've lost track.
Did they win
lost
yesterday?
3 in a row.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he was asking me, Solana. So.
He's very territorial about the Marlins, Solana. He's very territorial.
They lost 3 in a row. Not going great right now. They lost the first 2 in Colorado. Hopefully Sandy can get them back on track tonight.
All right.
His whole body language changed.
What's his record? You said he was having an off year.
Sandy's ERA is in the 5s, but like his underlying numbers are very similar to last year. It's a lot of bad luck, and then when things spiral late in his starts, like they spiral. So like he pitched 8 shutout innings or 7 shutout innings in Chicago a couple starts ago, and then gets into the 9th. They left him in, and he ended up giving the 2 runs in the 9th. And then in his last start, he was cruising through 6 and then hit a wall in the 7th. And Skip Schumacher's trying to do kind of what Don Mattingly did last year, which is trust the Cy Young Award winner to get out of his own issues. He is their best option, and it just hasn't worked out so far the way it did last year.
And we talked about it for a whole show when Yuri came up, the young boy, the youngest guy ever to play for the Marlins, and he's this kid and he's 6'8". Is he good? Is it legit in the lineup he jumped in?
It's legit. The only thing is, he's 20, 21 years old. He's on a pitch count every night. He was pulled, I think, with 82 pitches last night in the 5th inning before it was over. So he's going to be limited as long as he's up here with the team. But these are still valuable innings and valuable experience for a guy who will hopefully be in the 1-2-3 with Sandy, Jesus Luzardo, and then Eury Perez.
So what you're saying, Appel, is if you take Sandy Alcantara's ERA around 5 and drill down, it's like a 1, and he's in contention for a repeat Cy Young Award.
If you take away all the runs. and you make it so he gives up no runs.
So like for Solana, for preheat, say tomorrow, if you take away all of Duncan Robinson's misses, he's really shooting 100% from 3.
So true.
So I'm saying it's just how you massage the numbers.
Exactly.
I wish Josh called Dolphins games when I was there. This Crowder's a
Pro
Bowler.
you kid. You kid.
Listen,
if he just made more plays.
There's plenty of people that wish Appel was calling Dolphins games in lieu of what they've got now.
Now we're sneaking in. You can't get too serious with these jokes, Hawk. You know what you're doing.
Where'd Solana go?
Hey, bathroom. Just talked about it. Man goes to the bathroom 8 times a day.
There he is.
No, I don't. I don't know where you're getting that from. I went to the bathroom once in the commercial break.
You have loose stools?
No, actually, I don't.
It's such a great question to ask someone with a straight face.
How was it?
As if it's like, do you want coffee? All right, anything else in the headline, Solana?